Greetings and welcome back to the Beth Emanuel Virtual Kollel. You can find more videos like this at bethemanuel.org/Kollel. And today we're studying Parashat Noach, the passage out of the book of Genesis that discusses the flood of Noah. And so we're going to be looking at Genesis 6, and last time we studied verses 9 and 10. Now today we'll begin with verse 11 and see how far we go. So let me share my screen with you, and we can study together. We're looking at the Sefaria website, and we're in the book of Genesis, Bereshit, in chapter 6, and this is verse 11. Yod Aleph is 11. And let me just read it for you. Vatishachet haaretz lifnei haElohim. Vatimale haaretz chamas. Well, this gives us a good chance to look at some Nifal verbs. So we begin with this word Vatishachet. So the root of this is shin chet tav, and that means to be corrupt, to decay, to be destroyed. And of course, it's got this vav conversive in the beginning, which you've encountered before. What that does is it changes it. It reverses the apparent tense of the verb. So if it looks like it's a past tense verb, then it turns it into a future tense verb. And if it looks like a future tense verb, it turns it into a past tense. That's the basic idea of it. But if you just take this word tishachet, it looks like it is imperfect or future tense. Here's the meaning. The shachat is to destroy, to corrupt, to go to ruin, to decay. And so verbs that begin with this T sound, like tishachet, that indicates that it's going to be either feminine, third person, imperfect, or second person, either masculine or feminine, and there will be maybe a difference in the end. So in this case, we're talking about third person, and it's feminine. So you would maybe translate it as she will. Now, who is the she? It's haaretz, that's the land, and this is just a feminine noun. Of course, we wouldn't say she when referring to the land. So Batishachet means it, and now looks like it's imperfect. So it would look like it says it will become corrupt, or it will be destroyed. But this vav reverses it and makes it became destroyed. Now, take a close look at the vowels in this word, ti, sha, chet. So e, a, e. That tells us that this is a particular verb form called nifal. A nifal verb is basically passive. It's passive, meaning that the action is occurring to the subject of the verb. So, in other words, you might say, if it was active, it would be she destroyed or she corrupted. Whereas it's passive, it's she became corrupted, she became destroyed, she became rotten, and so it's passive. And that's a feature of that verb form. There's another one in this verse that we'll encounter a little bit later. All right, so I think I hear this e-a-a in a verb, and I hear it kind of bouncing around, bam, 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 bam. That's what it feels like to me, and that's just kind of what I associate with the nifal, and so I get used to that, and that bouncing back is kind of what I associate with the imperfect. Or not the imperfect, the passive voice. So, Batishachet, and it became corrupted, or it became spoiled. And then haaretz is the subject. Eretz means land, and then when you put the definite article ha in front of it. It means the land, and what happens is this vowel gets lengthened to an ah with this particular noun. So the land became spoiled, or the earth. You could translate this also as earth. All right, lifnei, and so this is we'll say it's a prepositional phrase. Technically, the preposition part is just this lamed, and that means two or four. Or some it can be translated a few different ways. Usually, it's two or four, and then pene is technically a noun. The word is always plural panim, and that means face or surface. But panim gets connected into another word as a noun construct, and the im changes to a, as it always does, and so pene would be face of. When you put the lamed preposition in front of it, it sounds like to the face of, and that is a prepositional phrase that just means in the presence of or before. It can even be before in terms of order or time, not just before, like standing before someone. It can mean all of those things. So the earth became corrupted before or in the presence of, and then ha Elohim means God. And the ha in the beginning is something that just sometimes shows up, and it doesn't really necessarily have a semantic value that gets translated into English in this particular case. I mean, otherwise you could say the earth became corrupted before the God, but that just is not how we normally use it in Hebrew. So there, or that's not how we usually say it in English. So v'tishachei ha'aretz lifnei Elohim, the earth became corrupted before God. Vatimale, and so here's that same verb form, different verbal root. You can see it's mem lamed aleph male, and but you can see the same verbal form. You got the vav in the beginning, va, t, and then you have this a. So this is also a nifal, and it's also in the feminine imperfect conversive vav, giving it a past tense kind of sound, right? So the word is to fill or to be full, and you can see in the nifal, it's to be filled, okay? And so it would be the earth again, ha'aretz, was filled. It's a passive voice. So v'timale ha'aretz, the earth was filled, and then this is an indirect object, Hamas. Now, Hamas means violence, robbery. It's definitely very negative behavior, harmful behaviors between different people. And you may recognize it from the name of the terrorist organization in the Palestinian territories. It's got a similar name, and that's really just coincidental. I think Hamas probably means something else in Arabic, but it's sort of an ongoing, joke that it happens to mean violence and robbery in Hebrew, and that goes all the way back to the biblical text. So, all right, here's our problem. V'tishachei ha'aretz lifnei Elohim v'timlei ha'aretz Hamas. The earth became corrupted before God, and the earth was filled with violence or robbery. Okay, and so I think it's interesting that we're blaming the earth for this, or actually, is it really blame? Maybe it's describing what became affected. All right, so Yod Beit is verse 12, and here's how it goes. Vayar Elohim et haaretz vehine nishchata ki hishchit kol basar et darko al haaretz. Okay, vayar. The root of this one is resh aleph hey. And what will often happen when you have this particular verb form is that if the word ends, or the root ends with a hey, it will drop off. Normally, if you say, and so the root of this word ends up meaning to see. And if you just want to say he will see, you'd say yir a, and it would have the hey on it. But when you have this conversive vav form, the hey drops off and it becomes vayar. So this is third person, and it's masculine, and it's that conversive vav. It looks like it's imperfect, but it's got a perfect tense sound to it. So, or meaning to it. So it's he saw, and he saw. And now we have Elohim as the subject, so God saw. And now et tells us whatever comes after this is going to be the direct object. It's going to be what the action happened to. So what did God see? Et ha'aretz, the land or the earth. Okay, so God saw the earth or the land. V'hinei, it's a fun word. Hinei doesn't have a really good translation into English. Now, I guess a lot of translations will say behold, but whoever says that in English nowadays, even in formal speech, it just doesn't happen. It's a way to direct the reader's attention, or the listener's attention, to something important that they should notice, that they might be surprised about, they're drawing attention to. So v'hinei, and what is it that we're drawing attention to? Nishchata. So this is the same root as up here, tishachet, tishachet. It's got shin, chet, tav. And but this is not in that conversive vav form. This is just the feminine, perfect tense nifal form. So it's just she became corrupt. It was corrupt, right? So it was corrupted. Maybe would be better. So vihine nishchata, and look, it was corrupted. Right. So going on, ki hishchit. Okay. So ki always describes some sort of a chain of cause and effect. It can be translated lots of different ways. It's, as you can see, we have that, for, because, when, as though, and by default, I think we'll say it means for or because. We're describing what the cause for nishchata. Why was it corrupted? Ki, because. And now here's the explanation. Hishchit. Okay. Oh, we get to see another form of this verb. So shin chet tav again, same verbal root, shin chet tav. But now instead we've got this he and then an e inside. So hishchit is not in the nifal form anymore. So this is nifal. This is nifal. This is not nifal. This is he feel. So you can hear the same vowel pattern in he feel and he shchit. It starts with the he and it has an e in it. Different set of verbal letters. But he feel tends to be a causative verb. It's causing something to happen. All right. So in this case, it's this is masculine singular, and it's in the perfect tense. So it's he caused it to be corrupted. So in other words, he spoiled, he ruined. Okay. So, and who is the he? It's a little bit weird here. Kol basar. All right. Kol. It looks like it says kal here, but it's pronounced kol. This is called the kamatz katan. It means all of, and then basar means flesh, meat, and that's literally flesh or meat, but it's idiomatic for living creatures, humans, and so on, physical animals, those kinds of things. So all flesh, all living things, all humanity had corrupted, had destroyed, had ruined. And we have et saying, what did they ruin? This is going to indicate what the object happened to. Darko. Darko is, the root is derech. Derech means way or road, path, right? And then it's got a suffix on it, this O suffix. And then when you put the O suffix on it, it just shifts the vowels slightly so that it's easier. It just kind of draws the accent over to the end of the word, and that O suffix means his. And who is the he we're talking about? It's kol basar, every living thing, every animal. So all flesh corrupted or ruined its way. All right, and then now we're just going to describe it a little more. Al haaretz. Al is a preposition that means on or upon or over. Al, and then haaretz means the land, as we know. So on the land or on the earth. So to recap this, Vayar Elohim et haaretz v'hine nishchata ki hishchit kol basar et darko al haaretz. So God saw the earth, and behold, guess what? It was corrupted, because all flesh ruined its way or corrupted its way on the earth. All right. And so there's an interesting discussion in the commentaries, of course, about this. And what exactly is to blame, this kol basar? Is it just humans? Because you could interpret it that way. But according to Rashi, it's talking about all animals. All the animals and the creatures corrupted their way, acted inappropriately, didn't stay within their God-given boundaries, and that's what caused the corruption that led to the flood in the days of Noah. So that's all I will do for today, and God willing, we'll come back next week with some. With next week's Parashah, and we'll learn some more Hebrew. Thanks for joining me.